Alright. Okay, so we are filming. Oh. And I'm not one of the markers, but if you ask Miss Wilkes, she'd be able to let you know. Okay. Where is my copy of my... Here, okay. Alright guys, so we got up to... I'm trying to have the projector on the other side so that you're not always blocked by my hand, but it's just going to take me a minute to get used to. Okay, now we got up to the top of page 5 for Prufrock. Oh, we got the extra booklets, great. And yeah, girls, you'll be able to watch the videos to catch up really easily. Alright, and let's get started. Okay, so we finished off with, we had this discussion around, do I dare disturb the universe? In a minute there is time for decisions and revisions which a minute will reverse. And so he's just kind of, landed that big question, that big rhetorical question. Now, what's happening here is we start to get a sense that he's feeling really like exhausted, okay? So because he's an overthinker, our flaneur, our persona, J. Alfred Prufrock, he's overthinking, he's a perfectionist, and he's got all of these insecurities and he's paranoid, and all of this hesitation has meant that he's overthought. And so in these next 3 stanzas, we get a sense of exhaustion. And I'm going to read the 3 stanzas together so that you can hear that. And the exhaustion is really created through repetition. And he repeats the word known and the phrases, I have known them all, have known, I have, I know, I have known. And so he says those things a number of times throughout these 3 stanzas. And he finishes each stanza, verse 2 with the same rhetorical question, how should I presume? And then the third one, he says, and should I then presume, and adds, and how should I begin? So there's a structure to these 3 stanzas that links them together. But just listen for this sense of exhaustion as I read before we write anything. For I have known them all already, known them all, have known the evenings, mornings, afternoons. I have measured out my life with coffee spoons. I know the voices dying with a dying fall beneath the music from a farther room. So how should I presume? And I have known the eyes already, known them all, the eyes that fix you in a formulated phrase. When I am formulated, sprawling on a pin, when I am pinned and wriggling on a wall, then how should I begin to spit out all the butt ends of my days and ways, and how should I presume? And I have known them all already, known them all, arms that are braceleted and white and bare, but in the lamplight, downed with light brown hair. Is it perfume from a dress that makes me so digress? Arms that lie along a table or wrap about a shawl. And should I then presume? And how should I begin? Alright, so first thing we're going to annotate is this repetition. So you want to, where's my... Alright, so we've got so I have known them all. Now, just be mindful that the repetition isn't always exactly this. Sometimes it's just I have, and sometimes it's known. Here we see known them all. Have known. Oh, I'm gonna write it. Yep. So this is a repetition that causes this sense of exhaustion from overthinking, and there's a cyclical nature to the stanzas. Okay, but
not formal feature though.
It is feature. It's like a language technique in that there's this so repetition's a language technique. In terms of these three stanzas being linked together, that would come under the notion of form, and that there's this notion of a cyclical tone reflecting. It's kind of reflecting the way that society is now and working, and like day in, day out, and over again, and that mundane way of working to live rather than living to work that he's seeing in this industrialised society. But we'll write that. So we've got here I have as part of this repetition, and I know. And in the second of these three stanzas, we've got I have known, and again we've known them all. And in the third stanza, I have known, and again with the know them all. Now you can see that with the, I'll just go a little bit smaller, hold on. Okay, so you can see that with the beginnings of these three stanzas, we've got I have known them all, I have known them all, I have known them all. So that is to do with form. So let's write on the we'll write it on the side here. So I'm going to write form. So, I'll make that a bit bigger so you can see it. Whoops. So it is the, I'm just going to focus that, it'll come back. There we go. Repetition in the first line of three stanzas develops okay, so repetition in the first line of three stanzas develops a cyclical tone that reflects the empty routines of modern life. So one of the concepts that modernists were concerned with is, we've been talking about this lack of spirituality and a lack of meaning, and that procrastination and what should I do, and mixed up amongst that is the meaninglessness of those empty routines of life. You get up, you go to work, you come home, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you get up, you come, and that was something that was really dominant in a lot of the thinking around the modernist writers and their concerns. And so he's creating that through the way that these three stanzas work together, and that's why we place it with form. Now the other note we're going to write is still to do with repetition, and instead of, these are the repetition of the phrases that links with this, but then we've got the repetition of known them all, have, I know. So where we've got this happening, So obviously it's the most in here, and then it's recalled when we've got it happening in this first line. And this is what is developing this exhausted tone of overthinking. So now he goes on in this first stanza and says, have known the evenings, mornings, afternoons. I have measured out my life with coffee spoons. I know the voices dying with a dying fall beneath the music from a farther room. So how should I presume? This is one of those very famous quotes from this poem. I have measured out my life in coffee spoons. It's an unusual metaphor, and it gives us the image of cautiousness and being measured. And if you've doled your life out in coffee spoons, you've been careful, and you've had these tiny measured portions of experience or existence that lead to a sense of being unfulfilled and a sense of boredom. And this is all going to relate to this idea that our persona has lived this very cautious life without risk, and that heightens his fear of daring to do something different because he's so cautious. The way we are writing this, I want you to underline, I have measured out my life with coffee spoons. Got a metaphor. And we're going to add, I'm putting it up the top here, and it's for what we get across these stanzas, that Prufrock has lived cautiously. Alright, so Prufrock has lived cautiously without risk. This heightens his fear to dare. And this idea of being cautious and without risk, he's well informed. We have this repetition of I know it all already. I know the voices dying with a dying fall beneath the music from a farther room. So how should I presume? Now, dying fall is an allusion to a Shakespeare play, Twelfth Night. And the play opens with a soliloquy said by a character called Orsino. And Orsino is lovesick. And he opens with this soliloquy talking about love, and he uses the term dying for. And dying for is what is referred to in the Shakespeare play. It's the music that is after the climactic bit of the musical piece, the bit that kind of fades away, that dying for. And so we are... Sorry? Dare? What?
Yeah, it says there.
What are you asking?
He's feared to dare.
Oh, to dare, sorry. D-A-R-E. He's feared to dare. Like, do I dare disturb the universe? And, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, a dying for here, we're writing allusion to Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. Okay, so when the last part of music is referred to as a dying for, it also means that that particular piece of music in the end provokes melancholy. So that's why it's important that we know this, what this allusion actually is, because that's where the meaning comes from. So this dying for is meant to be referring to a moment after climax that provokes a sense of melancholy. And he's talking though about these voices that he hears, so conversations beneath the music from a farther room. So he's not actually there, he's listening in, he's overhearing, and the melancholy comes in that he's destined to only ever hear about other people's love stories and never be part of that story himself. And so he is, it's a sense of longing, like he actually can't get there, he can't get into this further room. So these two, I'm going to write longing. Longing, he can't get into the room, and we're going to add to this, he is destined He is destined to only ever overhear love. Now, to presume something is to make an educated guess about something that is likely true, okay? And so he's saying here, well, I've known all this, and I've lived so cautiously, and I've only ever overheard love. I've never been part of it. I've never taken risks, so how should I presume? So he's giving himself a reason for his procrastination. It's like he's providing himself with the evidence of why he shouldn't go ahead and disturb the universe. And this is the repeated line that we've got. So we've got this repeated rhetorical question. So we'll underline it for each stanza. So how should I presume there? And then in the next one it is, and how should I presume? And then the last of the three, and should I then presume? So the annotation for these is the same, okay? So I'm going to place it just under this one, and we're writing repeated rhetorical question. That gives his justification for hesitating. And here, girls, here there's a sense of cowardice as well. It seems very cowardly. And remember we spoke about the sense of being a coward when we had the yellow imagery, and that's used symbolically for cowardice.
Miss, can we say the light a little bit again? Thank you.
This is kind of like that tension, like the individual trying to connect in this modern world that's isolating people and
Absolutely.
anxiety fueled, and like you can feel that today as well.
Yeah, 100%. And this is where, you know how I said that this is a module where you make a connection with the contemporary reader, and that's often the connection that's made, that sense of wanting to belong and feeling inadequate or hesitating in new situations is something that resonates across time. It's not just unique to the modernist era. Now we've got the eyes in this stanza. So again with the synecdoche of eyes. Okay, guys, just listen up. Thank you. Let me explain this as I'm writing it, okay? So, the eyes here, another example of synecdoche. It's throughout the poem. And in this sense, he's talking about the eyes of the others that he feels are criticizing him. And in reducing other people in society to just eyes, he's reducing modern man to a dehumanizing gaze. Now, let me just write that and I'll explain it a bit more. So, the dehumanizing gaze of criticism, reducing him to a formulated phrase. Now, when you think about it, he's really critiquing modern man and saying, you know, no one knows me and no one knows who I am, and they're just judging me based on what they see and making this assumption about me. But within the poem, he himself doesn't give any indication that he knows anyone deeply or has made any connection. So there's that irony, I think, in that his criticism of modern man is very much like what he's doing in his portrayal of others. When he is afraid of being fixed in a formulated phrase. Now, phrase, that's words put together. And formulan is what was used to preserve insects. And so he's talking about his identity being preserved forever as just a phrase that someone has attached to him based on their assumption, based on his appearance. And so he's talking about the limitations of words here. Think about in Mrs. Dalloway, how Virginia Dalloway spends so much time ruminating on the fact that there's so much complexity within her, and yet she feels that others don't understand her at all, that they see her as just the labels of her function in society as mother, as wife, as hostess. And so this is an important consideration that runs throughout modernist texts as well. Now, what you're going to write here is, we'll identify formulated phrase is what we're writing about. And you might want, if you want to just write at the top there for yourself, insect preservative. Okay. It is our short lesson. Alright, we'll write the rest of that tomorrow, guys.